What is up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie livestream. My name's Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. Now, if it's your first time here, welcome. Please be sure to introduce yourself in the chat so you can get the nice Camera Junkie crew welcome. And as the tradition goes around these parts, that the first thing that I do before I start talking about anything is to go check out who are the first ones who made it in chat. And right off the bat, we got Jeremy saying, well, hello, dear family. We got Sly Reader in the house saying hello to all. Parker Jennings is also hanging out with us. We got Jeremy Hubble. Nice T design on your thumbnail, Lewis. It's so funny because it's actually the same one that I'm wearing today. So it's just by coincidence. We also have Gretchen in here saying hi to the crew. Happy Saturday. Hi to Aiden. Aiden's hanging out here as always, taking the majority of my time. Got to take care of the prince before I do anything for myself. So that's kind of trying to set things up, and I'll get into that in a little bit. We're gonna have to we're winging it today as far as me being able to convey and show you what I see with today's subject at hand, the Apple Vision Pro. So everybody's saying what's up to each other. Jeremy saying, where's our moderator, or do we get to run free tonight? Well, I'm always still moderating, but he could be just a little bit behind because I know he also has a lot of things on his plate. So you see, Gretchen knows this. So says, hi, Jeremy. I don't think Lewis will let us off the leash. I can't have it because we got to keep it tight knit uniform for the new people who are seeing how we run things here. But we got Randy in the house as well, sneaking in just right before I start getting on my soliloquy. Well, today we're going to talk about the Apple Vision Pro. Now, last week I was able to unbox it and share that with you guys and share my enthusiasm for this device. But because it was so brand new and I hadn't set anything up, which took me a little bit longer than what I expected, right? It took me about 35 to actually no, I would say more like 30 minutes to run through the entire installation and first process of the Apple Vision Pro. But then also what took even longer for me is to actually start setting things up, because it basically was bare bones. So you're talking about emails and password systems and everything so that I can start utilizing the headset to its max capacity, so to speak, and being able to connect all my other devices so that I can make the most out of the Apple Vision Pro. Now, one thing right off the bat that just was a total game changer for me this week, and I realized it while I was doing it, was the fact that how I have my setup here, and let me give you a little bit behind the scenes look, right? Also, let me squeeze in here and show you, because I also have another monitor here to give you a little bit more context, right? So I have monitor number one here. Right in here, I have a 7-inch monitor that's bouncing off the teleprompter that allows me to see the chat. So when I'm pulling up something like Randy's comment and putting it up there, I'm doing it all right here so that I'm constantly looking at the lens. Then off to my left, I have my eCam, which is giving me a window of all the cameras that I have going, plus what's being broadcast live, my scenes, comments, and everything that is the power of eCam. And then even off to my further left, this is a completely different screen, right, that I have here. And that one is connected to my Mac Mini, and the Mac Mini is running standalone for a variety of different reasons, mostly for my remote production, right? I'll do everything on these computers, but then I will communicate on that one and make sure that the stream is going live and I'm viewing everything as an example on the secondary screen. But at the same time, what that allows me to is, if you can see, it says my favorites there. It's running my favorite soundtrack from Epidemic Sound, and I'm just able to run it right from the browser and have the audio coming from the Mac Mini into my Rodecaster Pro, right? That gives me complete control over that, allowing me to hear the music, bring it into it so that we always have like the chill environment. Well, it's like the way that I like, almost, I guess, like my going back to my bartending days, right? Always having music pounding in the background while you work. But this is a whole lot more fun. But saying everything that I'm saying here is like I got a pretty extensive setup, and today I even have like an extra one, which is my MacBook Air. I have it there because I was trying my damnedest, and I really do my damnedest to connect the laptop directly to my Mac Studio. And this was the plan: HDMI cable, right? So I have an HDMI to USB-C. I had this plugged into the MacBook Air, and then I ran the cable from the HDMI to the cam link that basically was set up already on this computer, but for this angle right here. So I was going to sacrifice my secondary angle today to bring you a direct feed from the Apple Vision Pro. But because that did not work, I had to improvise, and no matter what I was doing, this was not connecting. It was showing that it was connecting. I was on the laptop and I was saying broadcasting to the Camlink 4K, but sorry for that. That I don't know if that came through or if Crisp was able to cancel that out, but it was the panic button on the vehicle just went off in the driveway, and I was wondering to see if maybe I left my keys in the hands of like Aiden, within his vicinity, and that maybe he was doing, but apparently it was my neighbor, and it kind of scared the shnikes out of me. So I digress. What I was saying was that it was connecting and it was showing that it was the cam link and the whole nine, but it was not registering coming through. So I had to think of something on the fly, and I decided, instead of sacrificing this camera angle, I will then sacrifice my overhead camera angle today. So my overhead shot is now actually set off to the side right over here. Well, to show you. And I have the camera pointed to the screen of my MacBook Air. And that's how we're gonna have to do it for today, right? Let me see if I could fix it a bit. There we go. So that way, at least I'll be able to put on the Vision Pro, set it to the MacBook Air, and then you'll be able to see what I see in just a little bit. So that's the rig for today, and that's how we're gonna get through it so that I can share with you my experience. Now, going back to the story that I was trying to say was that using it throughout this week, what became very interesting, right? Because I have all this set up and I have everything helping me do my job and my edits as best as possible, that when Aiden is requiring of my time, that literally takes me away from this setup, and now I have to attend to him. But with the Vision Pro this week, I caught myself on more than one occasion being able to literally spend that quality time with Aiden. He didn't care that I'm wearing goggles, right? He literally didn't care. I was there playing with him and spending the time that he wanted as we played a game, and at the same time I'm wearing the Apple Vision Pro and still being productive. I'm still being connected through Slack, through messages, still being able to do edits on my on the timeline off of my MacBook and connecting it directly to the Mac Studio, and being able to take a setup similar to what I have here and take it with me literally on the fly. Like earlier today, I really went above and beyond and went completely outside and stood in my driveway and just put the biggest like Final Cut Pro timeline that I could imagine and then I had Doc Rock doing a live stream to the right. I had Slack and Discord open to the left, and cars are driving by. And the cool part about this, right, was that I'm in an outside environment, so I started screen recording just to show what I was doing, everything outside. And at the same time, I get a flock of birds just flying through, and they're going like behind and like disappearing behind the Slack and the Discord windows. And I just stood there. I'm like, this is so freaking dope, because now it also gives me the opportunity, like, that if Aiden wants to take a nap, I don't have to sit here and work. I could just almost shut everything down here and then take the work with me outside and enjoy the nice environment and the outdoors. And I was able to have a really cool conversation with my neighbor, because he saw me using it, and he's just like shouting out to me like, hey, how's it working? And I'm had to let him know, like, this thing is absolutely incredible. And it gave me a way of to express, because there's a lot of people who are wondering, like, who is this for, right? And the best way that I could explain it as of right now is that this is the first step towards putting computers into glasses, right, into like actual frames. And this isn't so much for us, but for our children's children, so to speak, like the next and upcoming generations. There was a time not too long ago when Apple introduced the iPad, and there was a lot of people criticizing, saying, who is this for? There's no market for this. And now tablets are all the rage, to the point that they've kind of replaced paper in a lot of school settings. And I also remember that the first time I ever used an Apple computer was in a school setting. And that's one thing that Apple has always had, like, their hands in the education field. And I won't see, like, I could imagine a future not too far along where you're going to have students sitting in a classroom and putting on a headset where they'll be able to see a persona of themselves and the individuals around them that they can still communicate with, but at the same time be in an engrossed or kind of like communal space where the teacher has complete control, right? Like, you wouldn't even need to take a field trip to a planetarium when you can, at a snap of a fingers, create a planetarium anywhere you are. And that's the type of future of education that I see. This is being the first step of future devices that are going to be able to share that similar experience, which is just mind-boggling, because it's breaking a lot of limitations that we've had in the like normal day-to-day. And when people are actually saying, like, this is gonna like close you off from the world, right, and take you away from like your family, in my instance, in my use case, has actually been quite the opposite, because I know that the awesome conversation that I had with my front door neighbor today, even though it being about the Apple Vision Pro, would have never happened if I would have stayed inside my home and just working on my actual setup the way that I have it right now. If I wasn't out there trying to do exactly what I do here, there, the conversation would never even happen. And that's just one more conversation that builds into a friendship that I have with my neighbor across the street. So that's actually building more relationships right off the bat, because it's allowing me to be a lot more mobile than before. And I just can't emphasize enough, the coolest part was like me literally just on the floor next to Aiden, playing with him with his toys, and he is having a blast, right? He is like, dad is hanging out, we're like, and he is just playing like all the games and giving it 100%. And I can give him that attention and at the same time still be productive in the work that I need to do. So that, like, I caught myself and I was like, this is what this is for, right? At least for me, that's what I figured out. And I was like, this is just perfect for my use case scenario. Another part of my use case scenario is that I have this amazing big window right here, right? And then the other walls around my place don't really have a lot of space for like mounting a big let's say 75-inch television so that I can watch the upcoming Super Bowl game, right? Well, in my use case, I don't have the ability, or I don't even have the ability to share a television experience with anyone besides Aiden. And he's not watching what I'm watching. So I do understand that in some cases, you'd be to the point where you're saying, like, hey, only you, as the only singular family member using this device, can't share that experience with anyone else. Well, through the screen share you can a little bit, but that's still also kind of just sharing the overall experience. But I don't see us like a future where in a software update, or maybe even an application like Zoom, right, where you'd be able to communicate and hop in, right, that at the same time you'd be able to share a display, so that, let's say we all wanted to watch something together like the Super Bowl, you can all hang out in a virtual experience or a virtual place where, you know, the communal screen will be shared amongst all Apple Vision Pros, for instance. The example that I'm trying to give is, let's say, the same way that everyone in your family right now might have their own iPhone, hypothetically, or smartphone, right? You're still able to all hang out in the living room and share experiences, even though you have your own personalized iDevice or, you know, smartphone. I foresee a future where this is going to be taking over all of those kind of duties. So instead of seeing people with their individual phones, they will have their individual Apple Vision Pro. And their Apple Vision Pro, whichever generation it may be, will actually be able to share a space, so that if I say, hey, you know what, I want to share the television program that I'm watching, and I put a huge 60-foot, you know, like television in the living room and just have it there sitting, that I won't be the only one that sees it, right? I'll be the one transmitting it as like the main source, because I'm the one kind of like with the remote control, right? The one watching the football game. But once it's in the virtual space, anyone that can tap in kind of into the same Wi-Fi network will be able to access and have permissions to see exactly what you're seeing, so that then in the future they can sit right next to you and enjoy exactly what it is that you're broadcasting at that moment, hypothetically said Super Bowl, right? So it's very, very interesting, because I don't see it as all gloom and doom as a lot of people see it, right? Because of course negativity sells, right? It does, because like even Wall Street Journal and a lot of different publications will put out content leaning towards that, right? Leaning towards the negative of like, oh, this dystopian future and things like that. And for my experience in just one short week, I don't see it, right? And I see these viral clips going around of people walking around going like this and doing that, and I know, because I own the unit, that they're just doing it for absolute show, right? That they're actually not moving any windows within their virtual reality space, but they're doing all the extra gestures and making making a mockery of it, so to speak, just because they want to be sensationalizing their video. And that's where I'll leave it. As of right now, I only see amazing potential in the future for these devices in this application and a variety of different. So I can't wait for the future of this in version 2, 3, and whatever is to come. Now, what I was able to do, right? I was able to connect all of my kind of like accounts that I use for Apple and things like that, so everything's interconnected. But the one thing that everyone's talking about is like gaming, right? Because it's always the big debate. Gaming is such a huge industry, so how is gaming on the Apple Vision Pro? I was this close to going and purchasing the PS5, the PlayStation 5. I forgot what they call it, the 4-axis controller, I think. And I was about to buy it because like it's one that's endorsed by Apple, but I also have one of these. This is a Nimbus Steel Series. This is endorsed by Apple. It actually has a lightning jack. So the lightning cable for your iPhone is how you power this little guy up. And I was able to connect this directly to the Apple Vision Pro headset, right? The really cool part, the thing that blew my mind was, researching and checking out some videos. Steam Link is a application that was designed for the iPad, and it's working with the Apple Vision Pro. Now, you probably not familiar with this, but let me break it down. Steam is a game launcher that basically hosts all of my games that I have on my PC. So it's kind of like my iCloud or my iTunes account, but for PC games. So on my PC computer that's dedicated for gaming, has the graphics cards and everything like that, I usually switch this main monitor here from my HDMI 1 to my HDMI 2, which gives that computer access to broadcast onto it, and then I'll be able to play whichever game that I want to using this monitor here. But Steam, like I said, is like the iTunes store of it, and that's the launcher that I use to play all of the games when I decide to do so. Now I don't even have to utilize this LCD whatsoever. All I have to do is turn on my computer, and because the way I have it set up, Steam automatically loads up as one of the main programs when the computer turns on. So once it's ready to go at 100%, all I have to do is now turn on this Steam Link application that was designed for an iPad on my Apple Vision Pro, and right away it creates a wireless connection to that computer, and I'm able to broadcast and play any of my PC games on an Apple device, and in this case being my Apple Vision Pro. That was just a total game changer. So on top of being able to have a Final Cut Pro timeline here, and then have like Slack, Discord open off to the sides, messages, emails, all nice in unison, I can also bring in another window and open up and start playing my PC game on the Apple Vision Pro. Now, the best part of this Steam Link, which was what really blew me away, was the fact that I had mentioned before, had already connected this Bluetooth controller to the headset. So it recognized the controller, and I'm able to play my car racing games with this controller that was only designed for Apple devices on my PC. So prior to that, and just to give you a little context, my PC, it doesn't have Bluetooth like built into the motherboard. So even though I have Bluetooth gaming controllers, I don't have that functionality built into the PC. So prior to the Apple Vision Pro and this connection, I would have to run a cabled controller to play my car racing games, right? And the one that I've been playing, Car X, FYI, just giving you a little tips, it's an amazing game. So Car X, I loaded up, and I would have to connect my Xbox controller, but because it does have Bluetooth, but my computer itself doesn't have Bluetooth, it basically null and voids that feature. So I have to go with a cabled controller, and a lot of times I've been playing in the games and the cable disconnects itself just because I'm moving my hands or anything like that, and there goes that race because you've totally just lost all control over the vehicle, and that's that. So now I'm just like so shocked that I'm able to take this Nimbus Steel Series controller, connect it to the Apple Vision Pro, and it send a signal that I'm inputting with my hands here wirelessly to my PC game, and then have it respond to what I wanted to do, and then send that feedback with video corresponding to what I'm doing. Like, it's mind-boggling what this device is already able to do in such a short amount of time. And we're just getting started. This is like the first week of messing around with this, and I already pretty much have like the entire setup ready to go. Now, the setup that I showed you before, like my behind the scenes, oh, wrong button, right? With all the extra screens and everything like that, this is basically as good as it gets outside of Apple Vision Pro. Because the thing that I said is like, can I replace everything that I do here in that system? And as of right now, I cannot, because there's a lot of things that I do with multiple screens, and just being able to set a lot of things open, that even though I can have multiple screens in the Apple Vision Pro, they don't run exactly all the apps that I need that are mostly Mac based. So that's exactly where I sit right now, but it could easily change as soon as I'll be able to connect to either like my Mac Studio or my MacBook Air and get multiple screens. Even if it's just one more, then I think it could really do everything that I have here pretty much in a one setup package. So my hopes are that that's something that's, you know, soon to come in an update, because they're constantly developing for it. The first update was already released, and the developers are already working on version 1.1, which is going to apparently fix a lot of things. Now, one of the things that hasn't been fixed yet is personas. Now, personas are a digital image of myself that would be displayed on a FaceTime call if I were to be wearing the unit. So for an example to, I guess, better explain, it doesn't have an outside camera to show you what I look like in the Vision Pro. So to do so, it creates a digital avatar of the, you know, of the user. Now, it asks you to basically look at the front facing camera, right? Do some expressions, but then I think where it fails more than anything is that it asks you to look left, look right, look up, and look down. And Gretchen saw my persona earlier today, and she could attest that it definitely needs some work, because it didn't know what to do with my beard, and it thought that it was like extra cheek fat, right? So it just made my face real plump, and it just looks like I have this massive, huge, dirty, because of the color, like kind of face and head. It's really not good. So there's a lack of depth that is not part of this digital avatar. And my idea, right, my I lost my phone. Well, one of them. Here, let me grab this. My idea to fix this, right, is that to be able to utilize another device like an iPhone, right, to be able to capture the image that you can send over to the Apple Vision Pro as your persona. So instead of having those cameras basically register the same way that you would register your ears, right, to have the spatial audio work when you have an get it in my hand, AirPods Pro, right? Whenever you have this to activate spatial audio, it does a LiDAR scan of your like ear and everything, and it asks you to take your phone, right, and basically put it off to your side so that it can record all of that data. So with that in mind, what I was thinking was that I hope that they'll be able to get a persona where I'm able to grab the phone here, and with the camera and LiDAR take a much better picture of myself, to the point where, you know, I can just scan myself like this, and it will do a much better job at like what my beard is, because it's going to have volumetric data as well through the LiDAR scanning. So here's hopes to that, because as of right now, the digital avatar slash persona is not really the nicest thing to look at. But it is interesting that, you know, like, in just such a short time, we went from memojis, right, where your FaceTime camera would represent your expressions on a completely digitized cartoon image, right, that you can send via text. And now we're getting into things that are way more realistic with the Apple personas and what they look like. So with that being said, I think I've soliloquied enough. I'm going to check you guys' comments out, and then we're going to get into it so that you can see what I see when I'm hanging out in the Apple Vision Pro. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Jeremy, I'm not going to put that up, but that's funny. Okay, he says, I have a nice rig, so thank you. Gretchen says, that's amazing. I think she's talking about me hanging out with Aiden. Scott's in the house saying hello to the crew. And yes, she's confirming the chipmunk cheeks because it took all of this and made it like my face. Just do not approve. But I do find it hilarious. And it's funny every time that I see myself as this persona because it's so bad. It's so bad. All right. So now let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you a couple of things that I also did. So I have this Peak Design camera strap, right? And I'm going to put that on because it has those specialty hooks, right? We're all familiar with them. So this is what I did. I put that on, and then I took the Apple Vision Pro battery and put it into this little bag. That way that's holding the weight. And then I put the little attachment for, right, the Peak Design, so that now this is bearing the weight of that battery. I found that using it with like kind of like basketball shorts, right, the weight is just dragging down your shorts no matter what you do. So this has been my best and most convenient like workaround over holding the battery. The other thing that this also allows is to carry more weight for the bigger battery. So I have my 26,000 milliamp hour battery, and I'm able to put it into the same pouch right next to it, right? And then just throw a USB-C to USB-C and power it up while I'm on the go as well. And with the 100 watts, definitely does a fast charging. And the fast charging basically allows me to have this on indefinitely if I want to. Now, I haven't really wanted to, right? Because there's just certain things that, like I said, as of right now, it doesn't do the best. One of them is like I do use 2 screens for Final Cut Pro. So being limited to just one screen is really cool, and it's mostly cool with the fact that I'm able to continue to do work on my computer after I kind of do lights out and put Aiden to bed, and now he's able to get some sleep, and with some AirPods I'm still able to continue to do work completely in my lonesome in just pitch blackness. And I know looking to the outside is gonna look weird because it'll be like completely dark. Aiden is off here to the left sleeping, and I'm looking at a very small dim light just so that it has tracking features, you know, that's barely visible, just so that it has enough data for the LiDAR to keep my windows in place, and I'm able to go to town. And it's very interesting that my eyes are full of light, yet when I pull the Apple Vision Pro, it's pure darkness. Pretty interesting, pretty cool. All right, so let me go ahead. What I'm going to be doing right now, as of right now, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to be putting on the Apple Vision Pro, and then I'm just going to be synchronizing it to the MacBook Air so that you can see, or so that it can see what I see. Sure, that's good there. Another thing is that I actually do prefer this solo knit band over the dual loop band, and that's just my own personal like comfort level. Once you put it on the actual dome, right, on your, you know, on the bone part, not the soft tissuey part, it works pretty well. Another pro tip, I actually took the cable and looped it into the back, and it actually falls within one of the little grooves of that mesh in the back, so I don't feel it at all, and it definitely keeps it out of the way. All right, so now let me go ahead and whoop. Right, and now that we're mirroring there, let's go ahead and close those windows out. And if I hit this button here, you now see what I see in the Apple Vision Pro. So this is, as you can see, the behind the scenes, right? We're getting that infinity effect here on both the camera and the MacBook Air. Oh, another thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch to wireless audio. So let's go ahead and do that. Testing. Okay, we should be good. Okay, so right now we're doing Apple Vision Pro. As you can see, you're seeing all the behind the scenes. This is the area that we do not speak about, right? So you're getting the, like I said, the behind the scenes, what the lens doesn't see. So this is the area that I would say is that no-go zone. But we're getting the infinity effect, and now I'm able to turn around and show you more of my living space. We got Aiden hanging out here on the floor, making his messes and playing with his toys. I will take care of this once we're done and we finish cleaning. But now this allows me to take what I have here from monitor to information and monitor, and literally take it and bring it here where I just press the crown, and now I have my floating applications. Now, we've probably seen it already. Just a simple click of your fingers brings up all the information. So let me show you some of the videos, and this is some of the stuff that I was creating earlier today. But to show you exactly what it is to be kind of outside watching this, and at the same time, this is very meta because you're seeing me watch this outdoor video that I took a Vision Pro within Vision Pro through this application. As you can see, it covers up everything that's in front of it, but then I'm able to take this and move it as close or as far as I want, and I'm able to do this with a variety of different content. And this is just me watching videos outside, right? And you're seeing how simple it is for me to grab this. What is it, Aiden? Oh, you on the phone? Okay. As you can see how simple it was for me to interact with Aiden if I was working, no matter what. So this is just a spatial photo, and this will give you kind of more of an idea of what we see when it comes to taking these 3D environment type of images. It really is immersive. So that's just, this is just photos. And what's crazy is that I'm able to scroll through photos that, of my family, right? That look just cracking up. And this takes this simple, ordinary iPhone photo and makes it next level. Let me adjust this microphone so that I can use both of my hands. All right. We still got good audio levels? Yeah, we're still good. Okay. So now I'm able to take both of my hands up, right? And zoom in. And you get extreme clarity and fidelity. Now, your actual environment, right, as you can see, loses some fidelity compared to, reality. But when you're focused on a screen at that moment, it really doesn't matter. So as you can see, like my gaming repertoire, my cameras and everything in the background, you're able to see exactly what I see. So that's just one small glimpse, right? But then we're gonna go productive. Let's go to compatible apps, and let's go open up our Discord. And there we have our Discord information. I'm able to take this window, just pop it here, leave it there. Once again, come over here and open up Slack. Slack is now off to my side here. Put it right next to Discord. and just leave it there. I'm able to take this screen, and this is something that I think is really cool, right? Like, you can see how it's just floating in space, but I'm able to like literally walk completely behind it and it goes white, right? And you're just able to see right through it, and it's all working in real time. So I'm sorry guys if I can't see your comments right now, but I'll get back to them in just a bit. So yeah, so now I'm able to take this and just pinch, and let's just move it here to where I'm going to be using it most likely with Slack. Then I'm able to connect to a variety of different things. Like, I'm thinking I might be able to pull in my MacBook or my Mac Mini information here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna look up, and this little icon pops up, and that is kind of like my my notification bar, right? So I'll be able to click here, and then at the same time we're gonna do a Mac virtual display, and we're gonna do the Mac Mini. As you can see, what I'm looking at gets highlighted, and that's where my eyes are pointed at the moment. So now we're gonna do the Mac Mini. Oh, check your settings. Why? Okay, I'm definitely not gonna do the Mac Studio or the Mac Air, so we'll just leave that. But hypothetically, that's how we would actually get that information to come over as another window, which was me was gonna just try to show you how to put Final Cut Pro as a gigantic window. But in this case, let's just open up Safari. All right, and now we have Safari. This is a video that Doc Rock had mentioned earlier today, because we're trying to see what we can do with VR, right? But I'm able, as you can see, to utilize and run YouTube the way that I would with a mouse. So I'm able to come here and make it big, then take it there, and then the one thing that's like really cool is, once again, the environments. So we can just open up the environments, and now I want to be in Mount Hood. There's a variety of different places. Joshua Tree. I'm not even gonna try to say it because I haven't had Doc really give me the the pronunciation. But let's go to Mount Hood, and now as you can see, it brought the environment here to me. Now it fades off, but everything on this side is now Mount Hood. And with the same digital crown, we're able to bring that 100%, right? And cover all of my surroundings. So now if I look completely behind me, I am on location on the side of the lake facing Mount Hood, where I can take this image, drop it here off to the side, and now look at the scenery, and I'm able to once again stay in contact with everything that I need to do because of this immersive pass-through, including if I look down at Aiden where I know where he's at, see if he passes through. There he is. Hi, buddy. Hey, let me see your face. Aiden, everybody wants to see you, guy. Hey, look at me. Look, hey. Let me see your face, buddy. Oh, you want to give me the toy? There you go. You're the best. Yeah, and this is why, for me, this is an absolute game changer, because it allows me to stay in contact with Aiden, with everything that I'm doing here, and still have like a limitless amount of functionality and productivity. I really wanted to show you guys the Final Cut Pro, but you guys could just imagine that I have complete control with my Steam Deck here, and to be able to see a timeline on Final Cut Pro the size of that window there, right? And you're able to resize and then bring it close to you, so that if you want to have like even more functionality, one of the real cool things here, drop that there with Aiden, is that once you have something this close to you, you can literally touch the gestures. So if I wanted to change that window, I have the ability to literally like poke and prod at this window that's floating in air, right? I can scroll through the variety of like through the comments, right? And I'm doing this all in the air, which is nuts because like I said, once again, you can literally just chop through it like Fruit Ninja. So it is incredible what you're able to do with this setup. It really is. You take that, right? We click that. Notify me in 2 days. Sounds good, right? So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to go back and see exactly what you guys are commenting. See if you guys have any questions on the way that I'm doing any of this or how I'm doing some of this, right? So feel free and let me get back to it, right? So let me go ahead and get to camera one, okay? And now we're going to disconnect. All right. Here and here. I'm gonna change the song to something a bit faster. Ooh. And look, a little time, about 20 minutes. I don't really have a mark on my face. I think I got it pretty well tuned to the way that it feels good. Okay, so here we have the last comment being Chipmunk Cheeks. Gretchen says, yes, in his persona, Lewis needed a fluffy winter hat and he would have passed as the lead in Dr. Shivago, which I'm not sure what that is. It says, come to Mount Hood. All right. So let me know if you guys have any questions. As of right now, I'm glad that I was able to share with you at least a little bit of that experience. The pass through with Aiden, the fact that I'm able to hang out with him and enjoy all of my time, maximize my time, right? Go outside, how people say and joke around and touch grass, right? To not be stuck in an indoor environment all the time and to have that option. Now, what does this like open up? Man, this little device right here now is like my entire setup, right? This is kind of like all that I'm going to need to take with me when it comes to traveling and being able to still like produce content on the fly. This is it in a hotel room, in an Airbnb. Like what's stopping me now from continuing to do my work, you know, on the beach on a perfect sunset, right? Like there's no environment, and the coolest part that I can tell you was that you are, no matter what, you are in that physical space. So I felt the wind, the breeze, right? The cool nature. Like I saw the birds, I did the whole thing, and I was still connected to my computer. So it's almost like people say we can't mesh those worlds together, and I'm almost like, why not? Right? Like what is making it mandatory that I have to answer emails and be in an indoor environment to make that viable for you? So if you're in the camp for doom and gloom, like, oh, this is like the end of the world, that's not my opinion at all. I'm just letting you know, in my point of view, in my view, I only see positives of not only the technology of the way it is now, but what I foresee for this in the future. So Thank you, Randy. He says, outstanding demonstration. Says, great demo, Luis. I love that it has opened so many paths for you and Aiden. Yeah, like, I think that was like the perfect illustration where Aiden can continue to just like poke at me, right? And I don't have to kind of like separate myself from work to attend to him at the same time. I'm able to do both together simultaneously, and that for me is worth it. Another thing that makes this worth it, right, for the people who are worried about like the price tag, right? Like, I have family members who spend a lot of money on like the Jordan shoes, right? And I don't think that they have ever gotten the feeling with any pairs of shoes the way that I felt when I was driving home with the Apple Vision Pro. Like, I still have this whimsical feeling about it every time that I put it on, right? It's just an excitement. And when anyone shows this much interest, it just kind of like emphasizes on how much I enjoy this device the way that it is right now, and like what I'm hoping is just future updates, right? And that's where I really think that this, even though it's a like generation 1 product, really differentiates from the rest of the Gen 1 products, meaning Apple has put all of the information and all the skills that they have learned doing everything else, including AirPods, iPods, iPhones, right? Everything that they're doing, and they've taken all of their skills and they've put it into this. And this is, as of right now, their best foot forward. It's not perfect, nothing is. But man, what a hell of a first step. And that's my thought on the Apple Vision Pro. Now, I said it last week, and I'm going to say it again. Even if you're not thinking about getting this at all, I think it will just be a good, like, I don't even know how I would say it, but I think it would just be a good thing overall for people to go ahead and do the demo and try this, because of the simple fact that this is the future. So it's just like, even if you don't use it, have an understanding. I think about it as like the best free like Disney World ride that you barely have to wait in line to go do, right? If you find yourself in a mall in the United States, North America, whatsoever, passing by an Apple store of any kind and they're doing demos, I highly recommend you go take the time. I think it's about 15 minutes to a half an hour tops, and do this for yourself, because there's a lot of things. You know what? If you guys are going to hang out with me, there's one more experience I'm going to share with you. Well, even though I think you guys seen it, like the dinosaur one, right? The reason why I wanted to just demo that once again is because of the simple fact that I've seen the demos, I've seen the video of people doing the demos, right? And they put their hands out and the butterfly lands on their finger and they're like, whoa, and you're seeing it and it's like, wow, that looks really cool. And yet, even though I've been able to see those videos and then experience that same interaction for myself inside of this unit, and it does not compare. The high fidelity, the clarity of what you're seeing in real time, the way the butterfly looks on your finger, man, it looks so realistic. It looks so realistic. It's not even funny. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and switch mics. But yes, it is so realistic. And it has to do with like the depth of field, right? You're able to see the separation of the wings on the back of the butterfly. So you're able to see like where one wing ends and it pivots, and then the back, like the thorax, the whole thing of the butterfly, and then see the other wing completely separate, that it doesn't look like it's a piece of paper that's being folded, right? It's not an image, it has volume, even though it's digital, but that's what you're able to convey with the system, which I think is hard to convey in a video, which is volume, right? Like the amount of space that something takes within a room, right? Like that's what really is like next level when it comes to these demonstrations, even if it is your hands, right? Like I've also noticed that the hands look a little bit buggy, but that's also me understanding the way that eyes work, right? And knowing that even though I'm seeing one hand, I'm seeing it through the vision of two eyes. So I'm able to see the depth because I'm able to see a little bit slightly more from this angle and also from this angle together at the same time. Which if it were to be a photograph, you would see how flat it looks. And that's where this really takes it to that next level because of the stereoscopic nature of the way that it's recording the photographs. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rewatch my live stream to see exactly how that was able to be broadcast, right? Because once again, the spatial, even like the spatial photo of my front bumper, right, of my car, it's so immersive when you're in the system that I just want to see if hopefully it conveys the way that it feels. But okay, so K-Wall's in the house. What's up, Kathy? Saying thanks for the demo, Ducks. Got me one to write a grant to get one. Hey, if you can get it done, man. Like Doc was, shooting his shot with Ken and G, like Ken and Glenn over there. You're like, yo, is Ecamm gonna cover the cost? Because it's still quite a cost, but at the same time, for me, absolutely worth it. And when it comes to like how often you're going to be using this device, this is something that I've been using for already hours of each day, right? And to best explain, it hasn't gotten to the point where I can say, oh, I don't even feel it at all. Like it's weightless. Excuse me. So just to be clear, like that's not the way that I feel, but I don't feel that this system is extremely heavy to the point where once you zone out, like once I was cutting and doing my Final Cut Pro edit, right? You kind of don't feel the weight because you're zoned in, you're focused on something else, right? And our bodies, our entire bodies, we are compensation machines, right? So if you hurt your ankle, your right ankle, you won't know, but your left ankle will automatically start pulling more of the weight just so that you can alleviate some of the pain on the right ankle, whether you want to or not. It's just your body's going to do that. So your body will compensate for the additional weight once you zone out, but you mostly notice it when you take the headset off. And once you take it off is when you're like, oh, okay, yeah, it does have some weight to it because you feel the relief of weight. But it hasn't been troublesome, at least to me, not yet. Now, there was certain, like the first couple of days where I actually had some soreness, right, around this area because it was new. Now, the best example that I can give, I'm saying that the system is new to me, right? Like I'm not used to having something on my face for hours on end, but it wasn't too bad. It was like the way that I can reference when I was younger, the first time that I put on like in-ear headphones, right? And I was only used to the old fluffy, like headphones that look like this, right? That just looked like a piece of foam that would stick onto the outside. So going from this headphones, right, to in-ear headphones for the first time, there was like a week transition period where the inner part of my ear hurt because it was being kind of stretched out for something that it wasn't used to. Now I put these guys on, and from years and the majority of my life wearing in-ear headphones, this is nothing. And I feel that on top of them making it smaller and lighter, and the technology leading towards that in every way, shape, or form, that also our bodies are going to compensate and get used to having some type of weight on it, that it will then, you know, kind of null and void the weight of the system in the first place. All right. Gretchen says, I foresee an incredible opportunities for the Apple Vision Pro be developed into a tool for Aiden. That's what really excites me about this. That's like, I know that if I were to put it on him, like he will take it off right away. That's just Aiden, right? I can't keep socks and shoes on the kid, but at the same time, I can't wait for Aiden to be able to be a little bit older and me be able to communicate with him, to actually have him start utilizing this on his own, right? So that there's applications and things that he'll be able to do directly and be stimulated in the best way possible for, you know, his special needs, so that we can overcome his challenges through some type of AR/VR technology. Now, you probably saw in my VR that I have food all over the floor because I haven't finished unloading and packing the groceries that I bought earlier today. And here we have Aiden going through it and popping out one of his favorite snacks, because he's literally telling me he wants this right now. So you can see family size, and it's all for Aiden. And it's all for Aiden because he's the man. All right, buddy. Hold on. He's upset right now because he gave me the box and I'm not opening it right away to give him stuff. So now he's asking for me to grab him. Oh, say hi to everybody, Aiden. Say hi to everybody. He doesn't care. He wants the box. Grab it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let go of that. Let go. Let go. Ah, drop it. Oh. All right, guys. This week with all the charades. Aiden! Stop poking me in my eyes. Stop it. We're running a live stream. Aiden, you gotta behave. You gotta behave. You got to behave. Stop it. I'm putting you down. And we're gonna close this out. Wait right there. Just wait. Here. All right, guys. What I was saying before I started getting poked in the eye here was that with all the commotion and trying to fix everything and get everything done, even to the point where I haven't even put away my groceries, I didn't have time to set up a cities golf for this week, but I kind of didn't forget, so I wanted to mention it to every single one of you. But we did it. This has been another completed episode 167. So yes, that's 167 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream, happening every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, without skipping a beat. And as always, I have to thank all of you for hanging out here with me and making this the place that I want to be week in and week out. So if you haven't done so already, please be sure to mark it down on your calendars next week, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place, where we're going to be doing this all over again and talking about something else when it comes to photography, videography, YouTube, and Camera Junkie dumb in a how do you say, in a nutcase? Is that, I don't even know if that's the saying how it goes. But we got a question. One Spot GS in the house saying, how is the video audio editing experience right now on the Vision Pro? I haven't gotten to the fact, but when it comes to sharing spatial videos, the photos, that's easy, that's a photo, but the videos themselves, there's no editing to them. So you have to be kind of like, you have to think ahead if you want to share a video of what's going to be the start point, what's going to be the end point, because in a nutshell, right? What did I say? Is that what I said? I don't know. I see Sly just said LOL in a nutshell, right? So I think so, but anyways, that's what I was trying to say. If I said something else, and if I said that, then yeah, I got it. But I can't even register it right now. Going back to it, right? The Apple Vision Pro spatial videos do not allow you to edit them at all right now. Um, yeah, so if I want to share a spatial video with like Doc Rock or something, it's in its entirety. There's no editing of it whatsoever, which is going to be changing soon. Now, what you guys saw right now, kind of the pass through, that was more of a like screen recording, right? And you're able to do those screen recordings, like the video that I first showed when I first got into it, of me using the Apple Vision Pro outside with the computer and the live stream and everything. That is just how the like recording, just the same way. It's not the same thing. So those videos, I'm able to export them and I'm able to edit them because they work just the same way as a regular video. It's almost like if I just had a camera and just I'm recording like this, or on my phone, right? And just I'm recording up and down and then taking that and airdropping it to my Mac Studio, which Final Cut Pro edits all of that perfectly fine. So that works perfect. And it's also a whole nother like level, because you all know that I have my top down shot for like overhead, so that when I'm doing like an unboxing video, this takes unboxing videos to a whole nother level, where now I have the ability to use both of my hands, right? Put this on, hit record, and I'm able to talk about it and just like literally, manipulate it in my hands and do that type of recording. So that is just like super cool and a whole new aspect to give you like an immersive feel of like what it is to be where I'm at and see what it is that I see. So that's really cool. Sly says, thank you for explaining what the Vision Pro does, right? That's just scratching the surface. Like, I didn't even show you guys where I can just grab the controller. I talked about it, but like, and play video games and manipulate my Windows PC, even to the point where I'm saying like, oh, I'm done and I'm going to shut down the Vision Pro, but I also want to shut down my PC and everything like that. I can shut down my PC from the Vision Pro, so it shuts down and I'm across the room, and have it turn off all the lights, and then literally just take that off and go right to bed and not have to worry about anything else. There's so many amazing features. Like I already put in the application where I control all the lights, so I could just say, hey, S lady, right? And once she pops up, I'll tell her lights out and everything goes dark, so just so much fun. I can't wait to, well, I'm just excited to be one of the first to have their hands on this device and to be able to be one of the pioneers of what these applications and what we're able to do with this device. Because I know in one way or another, whether it's me making videos like this or directly in communication with, said Apple who makes these devices in the form of like some, client or customer feedback, I'm definitely going to be putting in my 2 cents to make the most of what I already see is like an amazing piece of kit. But with that being said, guys, thank you as always for taking the time and hanging out here with me. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces as we do this same thing all over again next week, same time, same place. Talk to you.